My name is Cameron, and this is the Tell Me Your Story project. Can you tell me your name and where you're from?
My name is Jennifer Hammond, and I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. Actually, I'm was living in Johnson City, Tennessee, because I couldn't go back to Knoxville because I call her my second wife, my ex-husband's wife, and she's still jealous because I had an affair.
Oh, Jennifer, can you please tell me your story?
Yes, Cameron. Okay, my grandson's mother came to get me out of a very abusive nursing home, and 2 days later, she decided to start cussing me because my 14-year-old that I always considered my heart, everything I gave him had hearts all over it. It wasn't her medical marijuana, it was just weed, and it didn't calm her down. And she called me names just like my ex-husband did. The 11-year-old just kind of ignored it, but my little 7-year-old, he's so sweet. The first time he saw me, he came around the back of the van and he said, "Mimi, you look so old." But it's a long story, but we got to go see my mother in Bishop, Georgia, and she turned 95 on the 14th of July. So, cussed me all the way. By the time I got back, I had a very bad UTI and everything negative about her. So I ended up at Enloe. I got kicked out of there because they think that my insurance, when it gets approved, is not going to pay, but I know that it is. And here, last Wednesday, I realized that I had 3 more days of antibiotics. But then I ended back up at Enloe to go get an Imitrex shot for my migraines. And because my blood pressure was 160 over 105, the doctor would not give it. He said the blood pressure was causing my migraines. I have inherited migraines. My baby brother, and he passed away at age 50. My mother, a lot of family members have them from my great-grandfather. So I get kicked out of the hospital, and I was brought here. I was here 2 weeks ago Friday, and ambulance called them at 5:15 and told them to hold me a dinner plate. And Angie, I didn't think she referred the message, but she did. So we tried to call. I didn't get back to see the doctor, taken to the room until 6:20. Finally, when the doctor came, I think it was like 10 to 7 when I got out. I'd planned on riding the bus, but they had stopped. So when I got out, they called yellow cab for courtesy cab. Okay, when I get to where on Mangrove, where the cemetery is and the shopping center, about the middle of the shopping center at the cemetery, she slams on her brakes, almost hit the dash. She gets my rollator out and opens my door and says, "Get out." So then it took me like 45 minutes just to walk that short distance to Chipotle. The nice young man called Uber, and the Uber driver didn't charge me anything when I got here. Another Uber driver was waiting. I didn't know, and he said, "You need to help this kind woman out. She's having trouble." So at 8:15, when I got to Chipotle, I called, and Jackie Lynn, because there was different things in the laundry room, Rosa, who acts like she can't speak Spanish, but she speaks English very clear, was in the handicap. They use the handicap, which are capable, because another woman was cussing her. I should have kept my mouth shut, but I go to the laundry room, and Cedro, who did my intake, and Laura Lynn were in there. And I did come across too loud, but I told her, and she said, "Well, first of all, you don't talk to me like that, da 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 da." So I apologized twice, but then at the desk, still in front of Cedro, she was still rude to me. So when I called at 8:15, and like I said, Ampla called them, and then we tried to call back, but I should have left a voicemail. You think of things afterwards. So when I called at 8:15, she said that I forfeited my bed, and this is funny because she said something about my HIPAA rights, or the HIPAA rights. Well, I'm sorry, I am smart enough to know that HIPAA rights apply to doctors, hospitals, and nursing homes. This is nothing of a medical facility. So, therefore, when I get back, they wouldn't let me in. Well, the Uber driver let me out here, and I was going at the property. I see Laura Lynn walking towards here. So I just turned around, and I went up like this first parking row here, and I decided I was going to see if someone had water. My medications were left in there. I have pull-ups. I have a colostomy bag. And right now, my pull-up, because I took the antibiotics, it's causing side effects of diarrhea. And I still, if they won't get me pull-ups, and I don't know if Kaylee's lying to me or not, but I need to just be cleaned up. And she was going to call the Jesus Center, and I don't trust her. And then this lady here said you have to be on the waiting list. Well, God has abandoned me, I know. I am on the waiting list for renewal. But they let me stay on property all day yesterday, and I sat over there. They brought me food out this morning. Well, Osidra, that I thought was very nice, told me that they just don't jump up and do things. Then Forster this morning said I had to quit demanding for food. I'm so kind. I'm very caring. I'm just so over it. So between my grandson's mom, the hospital, the social worker at the hospital, both of them were named Heather and Heather. The first Heather was kind of heavyset. She was rude. But the other Heather was like in her 40s. She came, and I was going to call Adult Protective Services. And without looking, before I left, and not realizing, I put everything in a white trash bag. Then after we get out, my grandson's mother brings me my nice backpack. And long story short, I paid for the trip. And I was to give her my Social Security check, which is exactly the amount she's taking me to court for. So there is a group of legal students in Sacramento that this nice woman in here gave me the number. The situation happened in the dining room, that everyone's aware of it, and Angie heard me call her name twice because she said so. And then a woman that just left from here, and there's a whole deal with that. My case manager told me that no, she's on a weekend pass. He's not even her case manager. But a guy behind Shelley said, oh, it was elder abuse that happened. So I have lots of elder abuse cases. So I have to go to the bank, and I didn't realize I have paperwork with the last four numbers of my Social Security number on it. And I cannot imagine the bank. I have a picture of me when I was in 2015, and I got put out then because one of the workers, and I know who it was, no, it was the same guy that put me out, gave me wrong directions. I looked down in my storage unit, it was 10 till 6. So I call and tell him the same worker gives me directions. I realized when I was crossing the bridge, it was not right. So I come back, and he wouldn't let me come in. I ended up going with a couple that on Sunday night, I don't know what he was hitting her at inside the tent. She was screaming. She was in so much pain. And I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. And he said to leave because the police were coming. I sat there. I slept on the folding chair. I love it outside. I'm more safer over here than I am in there. But that situation happened to me here. But this is home to me. And I left to get my son back to Knoxville, Tennessee. And I've disowned him because he's not paying. He has nothing to do with his children. And his fiance's children call him Daddy. And I've decided I want to call him, and I'm excited about talking to him. And I want to encourage him. I'm going to tell him he has to get caught up in his child support. He has to send money orders. I'm just going to say, you have to do what I'm going to tell you. He has to send money orders to him, the judge, or to Chelsea. Then he has to send me a copy so I can have them. And he's going to pay me back for what he owes. Buy me a brand new DVD player. I just have a lot of stuff going on. And Kaylee told me I had to leave the property, and then she goes, I understand. And people will stop and listen, and I'm being polite and letting them, and they don't, what they're saying is already done. And then one of the men in here wanted to list my medications called Ampla. I'm 71, my mother's 95. I didn't think I'd see it, but I did. We have great genes, and I will be close to 100 when I pass away. And I wanted to be sprinkled over Cohasset Mountain, and I'm back here, and I will. And who is meant to be there will be. And I do want my grandsons there. But pretty much, I'm just on Phoenix. I'm so hurt with him, and Phoenix will be called to the stand to testify. He's my oldest one. So I don't know how much more to sum up, but they are definitely taught elder abuse. And I can name names, everything.
Jennifer, I think you did an amazing job telling your story. I'm going to end the filming, and then I want to just chat with you just for a moment more.
God,
Thank
so
you.
good.